In the shadowed, cavernous hallway of Jefferson High, a scream shattered the afternoon stillness, raw and piercing as a white shirt tore apart under the brutal grip of cruel hands. The air thickened with the scent of polished linoleum and teenage sweat as a crowd of students swarmed like hyenas, their smartphones raised like weapons, capturing the humiliation of Emily Carter. The quiet girl, her mousy brown hair tumbling from its bun, stood frozen, her wide hazel eyes glistening with unshed tears as the fabric hung in ragged strips around her trembling frame. Laughter erupted, a cruel symphony that echoed off the blue lockers, but then, unbelievable, unstoppable, her body moved with the grace of a predator. In one fluid judo flip, the ringleader, Jake Morrison, crashed to the ground, his smug grin replaced by a guttural gasp of pain. The hallway fell into a stunned silence, the tension crackling like static as Emily rose, her secret strength unleashed like a tempest breaking over a fragile shore. Emily Carter was 16, a ghost drifting through the chaotic corridors of Jefferson High. Her slight frame, often swallowed by oversized sweaters, and her downcast eyes made her an easy target for the school's predators. She moved with a quiet rhythm, her sneakers scuffing the worn floor, her arms clutching a dog-eared novel like a shield against the world. To her classmates, she was invisible, a nobody, a whisper lost in the roar of cliques and status. But beneath her unassuming exterior burned a hidden fire, a legacy forged in the disciplined hands of her father, a decorated military veteran who had vanished from her life years ago. No one knew the hours she had spent in their backyard, the sweat and bruises of judo training etched into her muscle memory, or the pain of his absence that fueled her silence. The day had dawned gray and heavy, the November sky pressing down on Jefferson High like a weight. Emily navigated the morning rush, her breath visible in the chilly air, her mind lost in the pages of To Kill a Mockingbird, a story of courage that mirrored her own quiet struggles. As she reached her locker, the atmosphere shifted, a predator's instinct prickling her skin. Jake Morrison, the quarterback with a chiseled jaw and a red varsity jacket that screamed dominance, sauntered over, his paws trailing like loyal wolves. "Hey, freak," he sneered, his voice dripping with mockery. "What's with the book? Hiding from us?" His friends chuckled, forming a semicircle that trapped her against the cold metal. Emily's heart thudded, her fingers tightening on the locker handle, but she kept her lips sealed, hoping her silence would bore them away. It didn't. Jake stepped closer, his cologne overwhelming, and with a swift, vicious yank, he tore at her shirt. The fabric ripped with a sound that sliced through the hallway, exposing her vulnerability to the jeering crowd. Phones flashed, recording every second of her shame, and the laughter swelled, a tidal wave of cruelty. Emily's breath caught, her face flushing with a cocktail of fear and rage, but it was the gleeful taunts. "Cry, little rat, no one cares." That snapped something inside her. For years, she had buried her father's lessons, his voice a distant echo. "Strength isn't loud, Emily. It waits." Now that strength roared to life, a dormant volcano erupting. Her first move was instinct. As Jake lunged to grab her again, his arrogance blinding him, Emily dropped low, her body coiling with precision. She hooked his arm with a practiced grip, using his momentum to pivot, and with a single graceful flip, sent him crashing to the floor. The impact load a thunderclap that silenced the crowd, his breath escaping in a shocked wheeze. Emily stood over him, her chest heaving, the torn shirt a tattered banner of her defiance. Jake's friends froze, their bravado evaporating, and for the first time, Emily felt the weight of her own power, a sensation both foreign and exhilarating. The triumph was fleeting. The vice principal, Mr. Hargrove, a stern figure with a graying mustache and a perpetual frown, barreled through the crowd, his voice booming. "Carter, Morrison, my office now." The students parted, their whispers a buzzing undercurrent, and Emily's stomach twisted with dread. She had acted in self-defense, but the school's hierarchy favored Jake. His father, a wealthy donor with a reputation for bending rules, would ensure it. As she followed the limping quarterback, her sneakers squeaking on the floor, doubt gnawed at her. Had her one act of resistance doomed her? The quiet girl who never fought back was now the eye of a storm, and the consequences loomed like a gathering tempest. In the principal's office, the air was thick with tension, the faint hum of a radiator underscoring the drama. Jake spun a polished lie, his charm disarming Mr. Hargrove, claiming Emily had attacked him unprovoked. She sat silently, her hands clenched in her lap, the video evidence reviewed on a grainy screen. The angle favored Jake's narrative, the crowd's cheers edited out by his loyal friends, and suspension dangled over her like a guillotine. The injustice stung, a betrayal of her father's teachings, but as she stared at the scuffed floor, a memory surfaced. Her father's rugged face, his final words before his last tour, "You're stronger than they'll ever know, Em. Use it when it matters." That night, in the dim glow of her bedroom, she resolved to fight, not with fists, but with truth. The next morning, Emily took a courageous step. She sought out Ms. Rivera, the school counselor, a woman with warm brown eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor who had always offered a safe haven. With trembling hands, Emily handed over an old video, a shaky recording of her and her father practicing judo, his proud smile a stark contrast to her current turmoil. She recounted the bullying, the rip of her shirt, the flip that changed everything, her voice steady despite the tears threatening to fall. Ms. Rivera listened intently, her expression softening, and promised to escalate the matter, to demand a fair review. But Emily knew the real battle loomed. Jake and his crew wouldn't relent, and the school's power structure might shield him. The tension mounted over the following week. Whispers trailed Emily like shadows, and Jake's glares grew darker, his pride a wounded beast. One afternoon, as she walked home through the crisp November air, his car rolled up beside her, its engine a low growl. His friends spilled out, their intent clear in their clenched fists and sneers. The alley was narrow, the brick walls closing in, and Emily's pulse thundered in her ears. But this time she was prepared. As they charged, she dropped into a defensive stance, her training surging to the forefront. With a series of precise moves, blocks, sweeps, and a final throw, she sent them sprawling, their bravado shattered amid the crunch of gravel. A neighbor's security camera captured it all, the footage spreading like wildfire online, turning the narrative upside down. The twist came like a thunderbolt. The video reached the local news, and with it, a revelation that shook Jefferson High to its core. Jake's father, already under scrutiny for financial scandals, couldn't protect his son this time. The school board launched an investigation, and Emily's storied and resilience of a military legacy captivated the public. Her father's old unit contacted her, confirming her training with testimonials that added weight to her defense. The bullies faced suspension, their reign of terror broken, and Emily emerged not as a victim but as a beacon of strength. In the weeks that followed, the school transformed. The halls felt less oppressive, the cliques less tyrannical, as students began to see Emily differently. She walked with her head high, her torn shirt replaced by a quiet confidence. She joined the school's fledgling judo club, mentoring younger students with a patience that mirrored her father's teachings. The courtroom battle ended with a settlement, a quiet victory that restored her peace. And on a crisp November afternoon, as golden leaves drifted outside her window, a letter arrived, postmarked from overseas in her father's familiar scrawl. He was alive, watching from afar, his pride in the warrior she had become a silent gift that filled the void in her heart. YouTube outro. Hey, incredible viewers. What did you think of Emily's epic rise from victim to hero? Have you ever faced a bully and discovered your own hidden strength? Share your stories in the comments. We're all ears! If this cinematic tale of justice and redemption moved you, smash that like button, share it with your squad, and subscribe for more thrilling stories like this. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Your support keeps these adventures alive. Until next time, stay resilient and fight for what's right.